Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, we're going to do a story about Fergus Ewing, and it's a bit odd because sometimes you go weeks and there's nothing, and then you get two on the same day. They're like the number 27 bus, aren't they? They all come at once. But this story is a bit more serious, it's a little bit more political, less sort of froth and more sort of firm political opinion. And I think that the view he has with regards to Michael Matheson shows that Fergus Ewing is one of the very few, certainly within the SNP, but one of the very few MSPs, I think, generally, who has his finger on the pulse of the nation and knows what people are thinking and is aligned with the thinking of the general population. Because he says that once all the knowledge and everything that happened about the iPad scandal came to light, he's saying it was inevitable that Michael Matheson had to go. Matheson obviously tried to hang on as long as possible, but it was never going to happen. Fergus Ewing said, yeah, no, it was inevitable. And he was right. So we'll take a look at what he's saying, because I do have a lot of time for Fergus. I think he does speak sense. He's one of the very few, as I say. And it's someone that I think, regardless of your party, you're just going to treat with a little bit of respect. Far more, I think, than just about anyone else in either Holyrood or indeed Westminster. But anyway, let's take a look and see what Fergus is saying. Here goes. So, SNP rebel Fergus Ewing insists that it was inevitable that Michael Matheson would have to resign over the iPad scandal. And he's bang on, and we all knew, day one, as soon as that all came out, we all it's going to end in tears. He's going to have to go. But then he hung on, and he hung on, and he hung on. And you got Humza Yousaf backing him to the hilt and saying, the matter is now over. You know, this is an end to it. I'm drawing a line in the sand. And everyone else was going, you can draw as many lines as you like, mate. It isn't over. And we're going to keep pushing and pestering. He's got to go. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's a fraudster. He throws his family under the bus. He's a complete and utter tosspot. Quite literally. That's how he ran it up, isn't it? And he's on top of all that. He's not even doing his day job. And the NHS is getting worse. There were many, many reasons for him to go. The iPad just sort of accumulated. That was the gravitational centre around which everything else accumulated. But ultimately, of course, it got so dense, it sort of inverted and he went popping out the other end. Anyway, the veteran nationalist MSP pointed out that the shamed ex-health secretary's career was always going to end after his expenses scandal, although Humza Yousaf refused to sack him, which goes to show the lack, I suppose, of political nous of Humza Yousaf. A long-standing SNP MSP has insisted that it was inevitable that Matheson would be forced to quit his role amid the scandal. Ewing has rebelled against his own party repeatedly in recent months and pointed out a flaw in Humza Yousaf's logic. Humza Yousaf has got logic. Now that is newsworthy. The former Scottish Government minister did stress that he had been friends with the ex-health secretary for 25 years, but pointed out it was always likely he would fall on his sword. He did add that he was never called upon anyone to resign in a minister in his nearly a quarter of a century in Holyrood, although he did back a no-confidence motion in Lorna Slater. Not his own party, though, and nobody really had confidence. And in fact, I think there's some now in the SNP that wished they hadn't backed the non-confidence vote. And got rid of them. That would have been super. Yousaf rebuffed calls from his own party to axe Matheson last year when the scandal broke about his huge £11,000 Moroccan fondling bill from his family holiday. He lied to journalists about it. He lied to Parliament about it. He lied to the presiding officer about it. He lied to the people about it. And it was, of course, attempted fraud when he put the claim in. So, a very awful human being. He was later forced to apologise for claiming the money back on expenses, as he revealed that it was his children who were behind the charge. So throwing his children under the bus to save his career is the sort of thing an absolute terrible father does. So it goes to show exactly what his home life must be like right now. Can't be good. A parliamentary report may say that he misled Parliament officials when asked about it. And that was why, of course, ultimately he's done I would say the decent thing, but it would have been the decent thing if he'd done it day one. He's done the inevitable thing, as Fergus puts it. He clung on to his job until last week, when he resigned just an hour before FMQs, insisting he'd not seen the draft report, which sounds to me like utter bollocks, because if he hadn't seen the report, why would he jump ship? He said he was quitting so he wasn't a distraction to the Scottish Government's work. Again, that's not it. He's jumping because he knows he's finished and he wants to go with dignity rather than be fired or seem to be slinking out the back with his little ream of stolen A4 and a couple of pens, you know, they're mine, as he goes out. Miserable little man. Mr. Ewing pontificated on the issue in a column for the Inverness Courier, as he pointed out that the resignation could be beneficial to his main aim, which is to duel the A9. This is because Fiona Hislop was promoted to a member of the Cabinet as a Transport Secretary, and she is someone who actually wants it done. He wrote, to call for someone to be sacked from any job is a pretty serious step to take. He says often it seems quite malicious, but few opponents have called for me being sacked as minister over the years. Notably one Green MSP, but taking the advice of a distinguished Labour MP, Tony Benn. He says, I've never felt it wise to pick a fight with a chimney sweep. He says, however tempting it may be, the desire to retaliate in kind should be resisted. Play the ball, not the man, or else you'll lose in the game. He said it was sadly inevitable. And he had to go. Of course he had to go. The lying, the cheating, the fraud, the way he treats his family, all of these accumulated around. And then at the same time, he wasn't concentrating on his job. And it was just getting worse. And every week he had to sit there and watch the figures getting worse and worse and worse. And I actually think that now he's given up. He's gone to the back benches again. He's still on a good bloody salary, although he shouldn't be. He should actually resign out of politics. And hopefully the good people of, where is he, Falkirk, will help him on his way come the next election. But, you know, I bet he's probably happier now that he hasn't got the stresses of being a minister. He can just go back to being a lazy bastard earning a lot of money for sitting there doing sod all, as all of them do. Anyway, there we go. He said, so getting back to Fergus, finish him off. Sad too that he was judged by MSPs across the parties as one of the most effective performers the SNP front bench had. Effective performers? Fergus, do you want to borrow me glasses, son? He said, but every cloud has a silver lining. In the ensuing reshuffle, Fiona Hislop has been promoted to take the lead on transport from a previously junior minister role, and transport is now a formal cabinet role. He said that bodes well for those campaigning for the duelling of the A9. And to be fair, she's come forward belatedly with a plan and has long experience. Well, long experience of what? Not sort of road building, that's for sure. They've given a 2035 date to complete the A9, and if you think it's going to be 2065, you'd be nearer the truth. But anyway, there you go, Fergus. Well done. You were right. We all knew. And finally he went, but he should have gone day one. He should have listened to you. Anyway, coming up, rounding off. I've got to say, I suppose Fergus Ewing giving Fiona Hislop a little bit of a pat on the back there as he welcomes her into the new role. I suppose that's just gentlemanly conduct on that. Personally, I don't think Hislop's effective. I don't think she's capable. I don't think the road will be accelerated under her stewardship of transport. I think it'll be same old, and she won't, have a clue what she's doing, because none of them do, None of them have got expertise in the field because they're all professional politicians. Very few have actually held a proper job, and even then, fewer still have held a proper job in any way related to the cabinet position they fill. What can you do? It's fools led by idiots, isn't it? Right, never mind. But I understand why he said it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. Massively helps the channel. Do hit the like. Also helps the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.